Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. You're not going to believe what I found the other day. A 1968 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, 1968? Isn't that just another penny? Well, buckle up because this coin could be worth a small fortune. I'm talking $1.9 million in today's market. That's right, nearly $2 million for a coin you might just have lying around in your old change jar. Now, if you think that's crazy, stay tuned because we're diving deep into why this penny is such a big deal and how you can spot one that's worth more than your car. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be eyeing every penny you come across like it's a gold mine. Gritty details, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on future tips about coins that could make you a small fortune. D penny. At first glance, it seems pretty standard, right? It's a copper penny with Lincoln's face on it, nothing out of the ordinary. But here's where it gets interesting, the D mint mark. For those who might not know, the mint mark tells you where the coin was made. In this case, the 1968 D penny was minted in Denver. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Why is this coin worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million? The answer lies in a rare error that was made during the production process. Most 1968 D pennies are just, well, pennies worth 1 cent as expected. But some of them, just a tiny fraction, were struck with an incorrect die. Instead of the standard copper design, these pennies were struck with a die intended for a different coin. This error makes them rare, and rare coins are worth a lot of money. Let me hit you with a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale just browsing, you know? I wasn't expecting much, but then I spotted an old jar of pennies. Nothing special at first glance. I started flipping through them, and sure enough, I pulled out a 1968 D penny. I remember thinking, just another penny, and tossed it in my pocket. Fast forward a couple of months, and I decided to do a quick coin search online just for fun. That's when I found out about the potential of the 1968 D penny. My heart nearly stopped. I couldn't believe it. Turns out the penny I had in my pocket could have been worth a fortune if it had the right error. Moral of the story, never overlook a penny even if it looks just like any other. You never know when you're holding something that could make you rich. The 1968 D penny with the error is often called a double die error. What that means is that the coin was struck twice, but the second strike was slightly off. It caused the image of Lincoln to look a little blurry or doubled in certain places. This is the type of error that makes a coin rare and valuable. The rarer the error, the higher the value. Now, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare 1968 D pennies? First, you need to check the details. Look at Lincoln's face, the lettering, and the date on the penny. If the image looks blurry or you notice a doubling effect on the features, you might be in luck. Of course, it's always best to have a professional coin grader take a look if you think you've got something special. They'll tell you whether it's the real deal and give you an accurate market value. Now, let's talk about how these things got into circulation. There wasn't a huge number of them produced, only a small batch of these error coins slipped through the cracks. That's why finding one today is so rare. And naturally, that rarity is what drives the price up. For collectors, it's all about finding something that's not only rare but also in good condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. So if you have a 1968 D penny that's in mint condition with that double die error, you could be holding onto a gold mine. Okay, so by now you're probably thinking, this is all great, but how do I even start looking for coins like this? Well, here's where things get fun. Coin collecting doesn't have to be a super expensive hobby. You can start small, go through your spare change, check old coin jars, or even hit up some yard sales like I did. It's a great way to build your collection without spending much upfront. Always check coins from the 1960s and 1970s. That era was full of interesting errors and rare varieties. For example, we've talked about the 1968 D penny, but did you know that there are other coins from that era with similar errors? The 1970 S-proof penny, for instance, has some rare varieties that are worth a lot. So get into the habit of looking through your change, and who knows what you'll find. But how can I make sure I get the most out of my collection? How do I know what's worth the most? Great question. It all comes down to two things: research and patience. You need to know what coins are worth money and which ones are just, well, coins. There are tons of resources online, coin forums, databases, and even YouTube channels, hint, where you can learn all about the coins you have and how to spot the valuable ones. And of course, patience is key. Coin collecting isn't a get-rich-quick game. It takes time, but with a little dedication you can start building a collection that's worth something significant. The 1968 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is worth a whopping $1.9 million if it has that rare double-die error. These pennies are hard to find, but they're out there. And the best part is, you don't need a lot of money to start hunting for them. With a little bit of luck, some patience, and a keen eye, you might just find a coin worth a small fortune. Just remember my personal story: never underestimate the power of a penny. Now, if you enjoyed today's video and want to learn more tips about coins worth money, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons of other valuable coins to talk about, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when I post new content. Hey, everyone! Have you ever found yourself sifting through a pile of old change, thinking, what if I just stumbled upon something worth a ton of money? Well, let me tell you, it happens more than you think. And today, we're talking about a coin that might just be sitting in your wallet right now, waiting for you to notice it. The 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, a penny? Worth millions? That sounds like a stretch. But stick with me and I'll show you just how valuable this little copper coin can be. Now, before you roll your eyes and start scrolling, let me tell you, this isn't some get-rich-quick nonsense. This coin is the real deal and the value is sky-high, with some of these pennies currently worth up to a cool $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million. I can already hear your brain saying, that's a good return on my spare change. So grab a seat, relax, and let's dive into why this penny might be worth more than your car or even your house if you find the right one. Alright, let's set the stage. We're talking about a 1984 penny, but here's the twist: it's got no mint mark. Now, if you've been collecting coins for a while, you probably know the mint mark is that tiny little letter, like AD for Denver or AP for Philadelphia, on the coin. It tells you where the coin was made. But some coins, like our 1984 penny, don't have any mint mark at all. So, what's the big deal? Well, as it turns out, that missing mint mark is a huge deal in the world of coin collecting. The US Mint has always been super careful about keeping track of where coins are produced. But in 1984, for some strange reason, they failed to stamp the mint mark on certain pennies. This wasn't supposed to happen, and it was a mistake that would end up making these error pennies extremely valuable. People didn't realize at first, but over time, collectors began to catch on. These error pennies started popping up in the market, and as demand grew, so did their price. Now, imagine you're at a garage sale or rifling through your old coin jar, and you spot a penny that looks just a little bit off. It's a 1984 penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it might just look like a regular penny, but if you know what to look for, you've got yourself a potential gold mine. So, what should you do? Well, don't just toss it in your pocket change jar and forget about it. You need to take a closer look because that penny could be worth a whole lot more than you think. You might be wondering, why would people pay millions for a penny? Well, this isn't just any penny. It's one of those rare coins that's practically impossible to find in circulation. Since the error wasn't noticed until years later, not many of these coins are still around. In fact, experts estimate there are only a handful of 1984 no-mint mark pennies in existence, and that rarity is what makes them so valuable. Let me take you back to my personal experience. A couple of years ago, I was going through an old box of coins I inherited from my grandfather. It was the typical mix of pennies, nickels, dimes, and some oddball coins here and there. I was just about to toss a handful of pennies into the jar when one of them caught my eye. It looked slightly different than the others. I pulled it out, squinted, and sure enough, it was a 1984 penny no mint mark. At first, I thought it was just another ordinary coin, but something told me to do a quick Google search. Turns out, I was sitting on a potential gold mine. My heart raced as I looked up its value, and to my surprise, it was worth way more than the few cents I'd thought it would be worth. I mean, imagine being me, just casually going through old coins and stumbling upon something that could make you a millionaire. Now, I'm not saying my penny was worth $2 million, but you better believe I had that thing appraised immediately. Most people don't realize the value of these coins until it's too late. Maybe they throw it into a jar, or worse, spend it at a convenience store. If you've got a 1984 penny with no mint mark, you might want to hold onto it and get it checked out. Because, as crazy as it sounds, finding the right coin at the right time could change your life. So, what's the current market value of these rare pennies? Well, the price can vary depending on the coin's condition, rarity, and demand, but a 1984 no-mint mark penny in good condition can fetch around $2 million. That's right, $2 million for a penny. It might sound unbelievable, but that's the reality of coin collecting. The more you know, the better your chances are of finding these hidden treasures, but how do you even go about selling or appraising a coin like this? First, get it evaluated by a professional coin dealer or an appraiser who specializes in rare coins. They'll be able to assess the condition of the penny and give you an idea of its market value. From there, you can either sell it to a collector, auction it off, or just hold onto it for a rainy day. But trust me, if you've got one of these pennies, you won't want to let it go without getting it checked out first. The 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a rare and valuable find, and if you've got one in your possession, it could be worth a fortune. The key is knowing what to look for, so the next time you come across a penny that seems a little out of the ordinary, don't just toss it aside. It could be your ticket to a small fortune or even a life-changing amount of money. Now, I know you're probably itching to go through your coin jar right now to see if you've got one of these bad boys hiding in there, but before you do, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and strategies on finding coins worth big money. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next coin that could make you a millionaire. So, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know if you've ever found a rare coin or if you've got a story of your own. Alright fellas, grab your coin jars and your reading glasses because today we're diving into a penny that's turning heads and cashing checks. I'm talking about a little copper-colored beauty that might just be hiding in your pocket right now, the 2016 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? One of these bad boys is worth a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. That's right. A penny that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, and still leave enough for a steak dinner every night for the rest of your life. $2.2 million? What in the copper-coated world is going on here? Is this some kind of collector's fantasy? Nope. It's real. It's rare. And it's hiding in plain sight. So grab your coffee, settle in, and stick with me for the next 50 minutes as we uncover what makes this 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable, how you can spot one, and why this tiny coin has collectors throwing cash like it's a Vegas poker game. And let me tell you, I've got a story about a penny that nearly ended up in a vending machine and almost cost me a small fortune. But we'll get to that in a bit. Let's start at square one. The 2016 Lincoln penny looks just like any other modern cent. It's got old Honest Abe on the front, the Union Shield on the back, and it's made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. But here's where things get spicy. Some of these 2016 pennies were made without a mint mark. Now normally, a no-mint mark penny means it came from the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't typically stamp a mark on cents. That's standard. But this isn't your regular Philly penny. This is the unicorn of the bunch, a 2016 penny with a very specific set of errors that launched its value into the millions. Now you're probably wondering, what makes this penny worth more than my house? Great question. It's not just the absence of the mint mark. That's common. What makes this specific 2016 penny rare is a freak accident at the mint. We're talking about a 1 in a billion minting error. This coin has a double die reverse. That means the back design, particularly the Union Shield and the lettering, appears doubled. And it's not just a faint double. We're talking bold, clear, obvious doubling that you can spot without a microscope. On top of that, there's a die clash mark. That's when the coin dies smack into each other without a blank planchet in between, leaving ghost images from the front of the coin appearing on the back and vice versa. Imagine Lincoln's jawline showing up where it shouldn't be. Now that's a spooky Abe. There's also a misalignment in the strike, creating an off-center image. Add that to a pristine mint state condition, we're talking MS67 or higher, and boom, you've got yourself a multi-million-dollar Lincoln. Super rare. Like Bigfoot riding a unicorn rare. So far, only one verified coin of this exact combination of errors and condition has been sold, and yes, it fetched a ridiculous $2.2 million at auction. That's a 220 million% return on a penny, folks. Not bad for something most people drop in a couch cushion. Or your smartphone zoom lens, and check the back of the coin for doubled lettering, especially in the words United States of America and 1 cent. If it looks like it's got a shadow or echo behind the letters, that's a good sign. Third, check for any off-center strikes or strange marks that look like they don't belong. Pay attention to Lincoln's profile too. Anything that looks ghostly or slightly shifted could be a die clash, and if the coin looks flawless, like it's never even touched the inside of a wallet, you may be sitting on a treasure. Get it graded professionally and hold on to your socks. It was a Tuesday. I remember because it was laundry day and I was fishing change out of an old coat I hadn't worn since 2016. I found a couple quarters, a nickel, and a shiny penny that looked fresh out of the mint. I thought nothing of it. I tossed the penny in my pocket and headed out to grab a soda. Now the vending machine was giving me attitude as usual. I put in the quarters, went to drop in the penny for exact change, and the machine rejected it twice. I thought, great, even the soda machine's a snob now. Out of frustration, I stuck the penny in my glove box and forgot about it for months. Fast forward to a day when I'm reading about rare pennies and see a post about the 2016 no mint mark variety. My heart skipped. I ran out, grabbed that penny, and checked. No mint mark. Clean strike. But no doubling. No die clash. I missed the jackpot by a hair. Always double check your change. That glove box penny wasn't the big one, but now I check every single coin like I'm on a treasure hunt. Because you never know, even if you don't find the $1 million version, don't lose hope. There are other 2016 pennies that are worth more than face value. Others with off-center strikes or die cracks can fetch a couple hundred if they're in good shape, and if you find one in mint state condition with no scratches, no wear, and sharp details, it could be worth $10 to $20 to the right collector. The 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's making collectors lose their minds and empty their piggy banks. It's rare, it's valuable, and it could be hiding in your spare change jar right now. This isn't the only penny out there worth serious cash. There are dozens of coins floating around in pockets and purses that can be worth thousands, sometimes millions. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and maybe a magnifying glass that doesn't make you feel like Sherlock Holmes on a budget. Now, before you go dumping your change jar into the Coinstar machine, take a few minutes. Look closely. That next coin could change your life. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, or if you just like the idea of turning pocket change into gold, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping coin tips, collector secrets, and money-making strategies every week. Don't miss your chance to become the next guy who finds a $1 million coin in his laundry room. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. What if I told you that a plain-looking penny from 1970, yep, that little copper coin that most of us wouldn't even bother to bend down and pick up off the sidewalk, could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.4 million today? No, I haven't been sniffing too many coin flips. This is 100% real. So before you dump your change jar into the Coinstar machine or toss that old coffee can full of pennies in the garage, listen up. Because somewhere in that pile could be a rare 1970 Lincoln penny that's hiding a fortune. And today, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to look for, how to spot the difference, and how one little error turned a 1-cent coin into a millionaire's dream. Now, let me tell you a little story first, something that still makes me laugh, even if it stings a bit. It's 1998. I was broke, living on instant noodles and collecting change from couch cushions to afford gas. I had this old Folgers coffee can filled with pennies I inherited from my granddad. One day I got the bright idea to dump the whole thing into a coin-counting machine to buy a pizza and a six-pack. Simple dreams, right? Well, years later, I got into coin collecting. One day I was reading about rare Lincoln pennies and stumbled across the 1970 story. I felt a cold sweat just roll down my back. That coffee can was full of 60s and 70s pennies. If I'd just taken 5 minutes to check the dates and look for mint marks, I might have been sitting on a fortune instead of pepperoni and regrets. Check your change, folks. Because one man's pocket lint is another man's retirement plan. Now let's dig into what makes the 1970 Lincoln penny so special. You're probably thinking, come on, it's just another old penny. What's the big deal? Oh, but this bad boy is not your average cent. The D stands for Denver Mint. In 1970, they cranked out a ton of these, over 2.6 billion to be exact. But a few of them were struck with something called a double die. That means the coin was stamped twice, but not quite in the same position. You can see the doubling especially on the date 1970 and sometimes on the word liberty and the motto "I in God we trust." When collectors say double die, their voices drop, their eyes get wide, and their wallets start twitching, but that's not all. Some rare versions of this 1970 penny were also struck on the wrong kind of planchet. That's the blank metal disc that becomes a coin. So instead of being copper or bronze like usual, a few were struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or other denominations. That kind of mint error makes collectors go absolutely bonkers. Doubling. Check the date and the lettering closely. Use a magnifying glass or even a phone camera and zoom in. If the numbers look slightly shadowed or like they're printed twice, that's a good sign. Condition. The better the condition, the more it's worth. But even a worn one can still be extremely valuable if it's the right variety. And yes, one of these coins sold for $2.4 million in a private auction. That's not some eBay listing from a guy in his basement, that's verified collector money. Serious cash for a serious error. So why would someone fork over millions for a tiny copper disc? Two reasons: rarity and demand. First, these error coins are super rare. We're talking needles in a haystack. Out of billions minted, only a handful are known to exist. Second, the collector world is filled with folks who want to be the one holding the rarest, coolest coin on the planet. It's like Pokemon cards for grown-ups with checkbooks. If you think you've got one of these, don't go spending it at the gas station. Here's what to do. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or get it graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. If it turns out to be the real deal, congratulations. You're about to be the most popular person at every family reunion. Basically, if a penny looks funny, feels odd, or has something off about it, don't toss it. Investigate it. Because every now and then, weird equals wealthy. That dusty old jar of coins in your attic? It might be holding a 1970 Lincoln penny worth more than a Lamborghini, a beach house, and your neighbor's smug look combined. All it takes is a little patience, a sharp eye, and a sense of adventure. Coin collecting isn't just for history buffs and hobbyists anymore. It's for anyone who's tired of watching their money disappear and wants a shot at making it multiply, 1 cent at a time. Don't be like me and trade in your hidden treasure for pizza and beer. Check your coins before you cash them in. You never know when a tiny copper disc could turn into a multi-million-dollar miracle. If you found this video helpful, funny, or just plain fascinating, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Hit the like, drop a comment, and share your own coin stories. Maybe you've already found a treasure and didn't even know it. And if not, there's always tomorrow's pocket change. This is your friendly neighborhood coin nerd signing off. Keep your eyes sharp, your change close, and your dreams even closer. Hey folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a crusty old penny in your couch cushions and just tossed it into a jar without a second thought? Well, you might want to dig through that jar again, because hiding among all those ordinary coins could be a tiny copper ticket to a $2.5 million payday. Yeah, you heard me right. One little penny from 1978 with a small d under the date could be worth enough to buy a mansion, a Lambo, and still have money left for a lifetime supply of beef jerky. Now, before you laugh this off like a late-night infomercial, let me hit you with some real-deal info. We're talking about a coin most people overlook every single day. It's brown. It's beat up. It's barely worth a cent. Or so we thought. Today, we're cracking open the story of the 1978 Lincoln penny and how one of these bad boys recently rocked the numismatic world by selling for a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. So sit back, grab that jar of spare change. And let's talk about how a regular OL penny turned into a millionaire. The 1978 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. You can tell because it has that tiny letter D under the date on the front, right next to Abe Lincoln's chest. Over 4.2 billion of these were made, which makes it sound like they're about as rare as mosquitoes in summer. So why in the world would one of them be worth millions? This isn't just any 1978 penny. The $2.5 million superstar is what coin collectors call a mint error combined with extraordinary condition. Imagine a coin that somehow missed all the factory hiccups that usually ding and scratch these things up. It's like finding a sandwich that somehow made it from the kitchen to your plate without losing a single pickle. The $1 million penny was struck on a bronze planchet in near-perfect condition. We're talking MS-68 quality. That's mint state on steroids. Not a scratch, not a dent, and the shine on it could blind a raccoon. Now, let me break it down for you. Coin collectors go nuts for a few things: rarity, condition, and errors. This penny checks all the boxes. First, the rarity comes from its condition. Out of billions minted, barely a handful have survived in flawless shape. Second, collectors crave errors like a kid craves candy. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, these flaws can turn an ordinary coin into a jackpot. Third, when a rare coin in top condition makes it to auction, the bidding war starts. Rich collectors come out of the woodwork swinging their wallets around like nunchucks. The penny skyrocketed from face value to a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Start by checking your pennies for the 1978 date with the D mint mark. Make sure the coin isn't too worn. If it looks like it's been chewed by a lawnmower, probably not the jackpot. You want sharp details. Abe Lincoln's beard should be crisp, the edges clean, and the lettering bold. Then, look for anything unusual. Is the date doubled? Is the rim off-center? Does it feel lighter or heavier than usual? You don't need a microscope, just a little curiosity and a decent magnifying glass. Or better yet, take it to a coin dealer or send it to a grading company. They'll let you know if you've struck copper gold. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple years ago, I was cleaning out my grandpa's old toolbox. And buried under some rusty screws and two ancient AA batteries was a little green film canister full of coins. Mostly junk, but one coin caught my eye. A 1978 D penny looking mighty fresh. I didn't think much of it at first. I stuck it in a drawer and forgot about it. Then one day I was scrolling online and saw an article about rare pennies. I pulled out that old coin, held it up to the light, and suddenly I was sweating like a man checking a lottery ticket. I took it to a dealer, and while it wasn't the $1 million one, it was worth over $300. Not bad for a coin that sat in a toolbox longer than I've been shaving. So moral of the story, don't underestimate those pocket pennies. Grandpa might have been richer than he realized. If this has got your curiosity tingling, here are a few quick tips to start your coin hunting journey. Always check your change. The grocery store, the vending machine, your cousin's car floor, treasure hides in plain sight. Learn from the pros. Join coin forums or watch videos like this one to level up your knowledge. And whatever you do, don't clean your coins. You might think you're helping, but cleaning a coin is like waxing a Mona Lisa. It ruins the value. D Lincoln penny, the kind you've probably flipped into a tip jar without a second thought, could be worth $2.5 million. That's enough money to change your life, buy a house, retire early, and maybe even get that fancy grill you've been eyeballing at Home Depot. None of this matters if you don't take a second look at your change. The world is full of hidden value, but most people walk right past it. Now, if you enjoyed this little dive into coin collecting and the hunt for hidden treasures, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button like you're checking for mint marks. And make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big coin that could make you rich. Got a story about a cool coin you found? Drop it in the comments. Let's swap some tales and maybe spark the next $1 million find. Hey folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever bent down to pick up a penny off the ground and someone looked at you like you're nuts? Well, next time, tell them that penny might be worth $2.6 million. That's right, you heard me, $2.6 million for a single penny. And today, we're talking about a very special coin you might have in your pocket change right now. The 2004 D Lincoln penny. Don't let the year fool you, it may not be ancient, but it packs a punch in value. So sit back, grab your coin jar, and let's take a wild ride into the world of money you didn't even know you had. Before we jump in, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know how it goes, boxes of dusty stuff, broken tools, and a giant jug of pennies. He was about ready to dump the whole thing at the bank until I convinced him to let me take a look. And wouldn't you know it, buried in the pile was a 2004 D penny that made me stop in my tracks. I didn't even know then what I was holding. But I'm going to tell you today why that same little coin could put you on the map, millionaire status. Alright, let's break it down. First, what is the 2004 D Lincoln penny? Well, it's your standard issue Lincoln cent, copper-plated zinc, features Abe's proud profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Minted in Denver, which is where that little D comes into play, this coin was part of the billions released that year. So why in the world would this penny be worth millions? I mean, you can't even buy gum with a penny anymore. It's all about errors, rarity, and condition. The 2004 The penny we're talking about isn't your everyday pocket change. The one that hit the coin world like a lightning bolt had an insane die error. And not just any error, we're talking about a rare, dramatic double die strike that made Lincoln's features look, well, let's just say like he'd had a little too much coffee and jittered in place. Now, these kinds of errors don't happen every day. A double die of this magnitude is basically a factory mistake where the design is stamped twice, slightly off. It's like the coin version of a photocopy being just a bit blurry. But to collectors? That blur is golden. The penny we're talking about was graded by a top-tier grading company and given a near-perfect condition rating. That's what pushed it into the millions. We're talking mint state 68 and above, practically flawless, untouched, crisp details, and a shine that makes a bald eagle cry. Now, here's the kicker. Most folks wouldn't know this penny is worth anything. They see a 2004 D, toss it in the change drawer, and forget it. But the coin community knows, and the big-time collectors? They're willing to throw down serious cash to get their hands on one of these rare beauties. Let me circle back to my garage story for a minute. When I saw that penny in my uncle's jug, I had a hunch. So I pulled out my trusty magnifier and gave it a good once-over. And what did I find? A clear double die on Lincoln's ear. I'm not gonna lie, I let out a yell so loud my uncle thought I found a snake. We had it appraised, and while it wasn't the $1 million version, it was still worth over $1,000. One penny. One mistake. $1,000. Step 1, check your pennies. Seriously, dump the jar out on the table and look for any 2004 D coins. Grab a magnifier. Check Lincoln's face, his ear, the lettering, the date. If anything looks fuzzy, doubled, or just plain weird, don't toss it. That's your cue to get a professional opinion. Step 3, consider getting it graded. You want a certified grading service that can confirm whether your coin is a regular Joe or a rare superstar. Always handle coins by the edges. You don't want your $1 million penny picking up greasy fingerprints from that burger you just ate. I once accidentally spent a rare coin on a vending machine. Hit the wrong button and got a stale bag of pretzels. Ever since then, I triple-check my change before I even buy gum.so. There you have it. The humble 2004 D Lincoln penny, a coin you probably haven't looked twice at, could be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. And all it takes is a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and maybe a magnifying glass that doesn't fog up every time you breathe. If you're like me, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Go ahead and dig through that coffee can, that old wallet, or the couch cushions. You never know, your future could be sitting right under your nose. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or even just mildly amusing, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you don't miss out on the next tip that could make you some serious coin. Literally. We've got stories, strategies, and surprises coming your way about coins that are worth way more than face value. End screen idea, show a giant jar of pennies with animated dollar signs popping out while a subscribe for more coin secrets banner scrolls across. Then fade out with a wink from Lincoln himself.